The following program, offered by Fox 19, includes lawyers licensed in Kentucky. For those lawyers to maintain compliance with the Kentucky Bar Association requirements, the phrase, "This is an advertisement," must appear on the screen. Moore Law is underwritten in the public interest by the Moore Law Firm, a legal professional association. This is Moore Law on Fox 19.
Welcome to Moore Law. Each week we will be discussing a different legal topic and taking your legal questions live on the air. Today we will be talking about kids in trouble with the law. What behavior should parents be on the lookout for? How much responsibility do parents bear when their kids get into trouble? How permanent is a minor's criminal record and who can see it? If you have a question about juvenile court, give us a call. We are taking your questions live at 513-421-4691. Now, as those calls start coming in, let's take a look at what's coming up over the next couple of weeks. We have on May 21st, Hurt on the Job, May 28th, traffic accidents, and on June 4th, Meet the Police Chief. Again, welcome to Moore Law this Monday morning. Joining me as every Monday, Dawn Moore. How are you today?
I'm doing great, Deb. Did you have a good Mother's Day?
I did have a good Mother's Day. I've got those two little boys, my husband taking very good care of me.
Now, did I hear they said something about you were the Avenger, or something to do with Avenger?
I did get to go see the Avengers. That's 2 hours and 20 minutes
right,
of my life, and it was great. You know, you have little boys, if they're happy, I'm happy.
All right, good. Well, I got to talk to my mom, and my wife and I got to spend some time with our kids and grandkids. So,
and you said outside of your house, so your wife didn't have to do the cooking and the cleaning up.
That's right. She had a good time.
That's a good Mother's Day.
If the grandkids are involved, she's having
a good time.
Okay, so listen, one of the things about being a mom is that means you've got kids. Today we're talking about kids, and we're really lucky because we've got an exceptional person with us today. Kim Brooks Tandy is both a lawyer and a founder of a children's law organization. Kim, welcome.
Thank you. Great to be here.
Well, thanks for coming in. Can you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Sure. This is an organization I founded 23 years ago. That is dedicated to protecting the rights of kids. We work on both sides of the river in Ohio and Kentucky, but we also do some things regionally, and we have some national presence on some issues. So we deal a lot with kids who are in trouble. We deal a lot with kids that need protection, that have educational issues. There's kind of a broad gamut.
Okay, well, great. Well, the phones are lighting up here, so let's get started. We have Alice, I believe it's in Cheviot. Alice, you had a question about your grandchild?
Yes. I'm calling about my grandson. He's 16 years old, and since he's been about 12, 13 years old, he's been in and out of trouble. Everything from breaking into cars, breaking into houses, stealing cars, not going to school, giving his mother trouble, threatening his mother. We've called the police. The police won't do anything. His mother's facing charges, truancy charges, all kinds of charges from him not going to school.
Has he been charged with things in the past?
Yes, he has. And he did go to Hillcrest. I'm not sure what that is, but it's like a facility for boys that have been in trouble.
Right. Now, so your question is, how long will these things follow him, or how can he get some help?
How can his mother get help? Because when we called the police do nothing. He put a hole in her wall. He's destroyed her home before. He threatens her. She's scared to death of him.
Okay.
There's other siblings in the home.
Okay. Is there something, Kim, that you might suggest?
Yes.
You know, there are a number of social service organizations in this area that I think may be able to be helpful to you. You know, I don't know if, depending on whether he's actually in juvenile court or not, they're really, Ohio's really shifting focus somewhat in terms of how it views kids in trouble. And so I think we're beginning to realize just locking them up isn't necessarily the solution to that, and that trying a number of community-based alternatives are really where the courts are going, not only in this community, but across the state. So, you know, that may look like a lot of different things, but it really, they will work, you know, generally those organizations do work with parents and with the kids together.
One of the things, Kim, my understanding of the contact I've had with juvenile court basically is their goal or their job first is the best interest of the child. Is that right?
It is the best interest of the child, but there has been an increasing responsibility and focus on community safety as well.
Sure.
I think the shift now is we're realizing that in order to promote public safety, we really do have to treat the child so that they're not continuing to commit crimes.
And when you've got a kid that just can't keep out of trouble, basically that kid's got a problem. and that kid needs some help to get redirected, or they're going to wind up right in the adult penal system as soon as they're old enough.
Yes. You know, I think one of the things that's changed is we really have focused a lot more on how to keep families together, how to keep kids in their own home, and to be able to deliver services. So perhaps the viewer will be able to, or the mother in this case, maybe will be able to link with some of those.
When you mentioned, we were talking before the show, that there are a lot of changes going on, specifically in Ohio, and you said the nation is watching what Ohio is doing as far as juveniles.
Very much so. You know, again, we've had a real tendency to incarcerate, not only in Ohio, but across the country as kind of the solution. And I think what Ohio's realized and has done well is to say, you know, we're not getting good results. These kids are coming out, they're committing more crimes, they're recidivating, our rates are high. And so they've really gone with more evidence-based practices, which are tried and true as far as reducing crime and keeping kids out of trouble. So there's been a very significant change. They've about 66% reduction in the number of kids in state facilities now.
And it feels like people are paying a lot more attention to juvenile crime. It seems like it's up, but you say it's down.
It is down, and it's actually been decreasing for the last decade or so. Now, there are some anomalies in there about certain types of crime going up and down a little bit, but I think it's a common misperception. And, you know, maybe there's just a lot more attention given to it, and so we make those assumptions. But crime rates really overall are going down for the most part, and juvenile crime has tracked that same path.
One of the things that we've got, our next caller, Michelle, is calling about bullying. That's a hot topic.
Yes, it is.
Why don't we go ahead and see what...
Go ahead, Michelle.
Sure.
Hi, good morning. I'm trying to find out, I have a 10-year-old child, and my child was having some issues with bullying at school. This incident kind of spilled over into an argument on a social media outlet. My daughter, there was name calling. My daughter made a comment that she wanted to fight. That social media was then, that information was taken to the school, and my daughter was suspended. What I'm trying to find out, my daughter and I don't understand the consequences to what happened on social media, being outside of the school, and how is it allowed to be addressed at school.
That really is a hot topic. You know, we see both sides of that in our office. So, you know, we have a lot of callers who are concerned about their children being bullied. We have a lot of callers who are concerned, as you may be, about allegations against their own child. You know, schools really, I think, have moved to trying to develop programs. I don't even like the word bullying because I think it has a lot, it means a lot of different things to different people, and I think when you add in the social networking part of it, that's another complexity. But you know, we've really been a big advocate of mediation kinds of programs, or programs that can really get kids to sit down together, because simply suspending a child or filing charges against them doesn't really get at the root of the problem with these kids. And so we really encourage that type of approach for schools to see if that can be viewed as a teachable moment, as we would call it, and maybe the situations can be resolved in that way.
You know, one of the things about the law and us generally, including kids, and what we're doing with kids is trying to train them so they can live in society in an agreeable and in a non-confrontational or non-criminal way. When you have laws like menacing and harassing and stalking and all those things that can be done with social media or in person, now we've got this social media business is kind of a new phenomena. And a kid has to now adjust and learn to interact with others in society in a socially acceptable way, because if you don't, you get charged with a crime and you wind up going to jail ultimately. So yes. Listen, right after this break, we're going to talk a little bit about the significance of turning 18. A lot of things change, and the way the courts deal with you change. We have a case here where a teenager was involved in a motorcycle wreck and was actually got a broken neck. So we're going to talk about that as soon as we come back.
Okay, but the phone lines are still open. Please give us a call. We're talking about kids in trouble with the law. Stay with us. We'll be right back.